Are altcoins about to explode back to life again after weeks of being battered by sell pressure? In this video, I'm going to be going over what I think are some bullish setups on various timeframes for AVAX, Solana, Doge, VeChain, and Dog Whiff Hat. A random bunch of altcoins I know, but I think they are setting up for some big moves over the coming weeks. We'll also be going over some technical analysis on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So let's get into it. So just quickly before we get into the charts, if you enjoy trading or want to learn how to trade, then check out our Learning Crypto Premium Traders Lounge. It's all run on Discord, as you can see here. So this is the Traders Lounge section. We've got the trades that you can see here, all the easy setups for you to follow, trades coming in every day. We've also got traders chat. We've got a trade Discord live as well. So every Monday, including tonight, we'll be doing a Discord live with myself and the other analysts, going over some live trading and talking about strategy. If people have got questions, answer those, all that sort of good stuff. And also you have access to the rest of the Discord, including, as you can see, the trade success. And as you can see, plenty of profitable trades rolling in all the time. So if you're interested in that, follow our link in the description below, which takes you to our website, learningcrypto.co.uk. Scroll down to the bottom where you can join either just normal premium or the Traders Lounge. You save a lot more if you choose annual. And also if you scroll up to the top, you can save 20% on any payment plan if you use the code Bitcoin. So go check it out and we look forward to seeing you in there. So with that shameless plug out of the way, let's get into the chart. So quite a lot has happened over the weekend since the video I made on Friday. As you can see, an important weekly close above that 60.5k weekly level that we've talked about and above the weekly moving average 21, which is all good. In terms of the higher time frame, so we had a monthly candle close and a quarterly close as well on Sunday. In terms of the monthly, not too much to talk about on Bitcoin. Closed above that 61.3 monthly level, which was the highest candle close we got in the last cycle, October 21. So yeah, that's still holding pretty well as support. Nothing too much to talk about on there. As I say, weekly looking pretty good, above 60.5k, which was what we want to see, and above the weekly moving average 21. Go to the daily. Of course, this is still the most important time frame at the moment, or most relevant. We are still in this range that we've been stuck in since February. Boring, I know, but of course we are very close to the range lows as well, which we did manage to hold over the course of last week. So we tested it. We had that nice little wick down to 58k on Monday, bounced around, held the daily range lows, had a nice little rally over the weekend. As you can see though, the big barrier in our way is this daily moving average 21, which we have struggled to break back above ever since we broke below it back on the 11th of June, which I talked about a couple of weeks ago being an important factor. So we really need to get a break above this and start trending up, and then we can start looking at potential new all-time highs. But as I say, that is the first barrier. We need to get above the RSI 50 as well. That's going to be a bit of a stopping point as well. So big barrier to get over is this moving average 21, and then we can hopefully start trending. Bit of a resistance level here at 64.5k, which is the previous high as well. If we can get above that, form a higher low, and then we can start trending up. So that's what we're keeping an eye on over the next couple of days and week. If we take a look at Ethereum, again, nothing too much to talk about on the monthly chart. It's a bit of a messy, scrappy chart, as you can see, over the past 4 or 5 months. But if we take a look at the weekly, we had a nice positive reaction off of that weekly moving average 21. Nice bounce off that last week and potentially forming a bit of a higher low here. So we had these lows back in, what's this, all through April and May, in and around that 2.8, 2.9 K level. So now we've potentially forming a higher low here, which would be good. Start trending upwards and start attacking this sort of 4K level in and around there. Let's see how we get on. In terms of the daily time frame, not too much to talk about apart from the fact that the same enemy that is on the BTC chart is on the Ethereum chart as well, which is this daily moving average 21. So I talked about this a couple of weeks ago back at the beginning of June that we needed to hold this level of 3679 and the moving average 21, and but unfortunately we lost them, and as you can see we've been retesting and closing below the moving average 21 ever since the 11th of June, and now we're having another test of it today. So hopefully Ethereum can push on. It was up a little bit higher early hours this morning. It's come back down a bit. If we can push back above that moving average 21, head back towards that 3679, reclaim that, and then we can start talking about a push up to 4K. If we reject here, then we really don't want to see a daily close back below to 3251. That opens the door down to the weekly level of 3K. So let's see what happens over the coming days. Of course, we are retesting the RSI 50 as well at the moment. So yeah, we just need that little bit of push, little bit of kick. We formed a nice little base down here about 3,360. Just need to have that little bit of momentum spike and a little bit of a push. If we go to Ethereum BTC, on to the weekly, again, I've said this time again over the past few weeks, but still trending quite nicely. Again, it's an index, not an actual asset, so take it with a pinch of salt, but you can see we are trending up, holding the moving average 21 as support, which we failed to do the last two times. So that looks pretty good. On the daily, which I highlighted last week, we have got this bearish trend line that we need to try and break. So it's been there since, or it started forming on 19th of August last year. You can see each time we've tested it, we've had a harsh rejection. If we test it within the coming days, that should be in and around 0.057. We're at 0.055 at the moment, so need a little bit more of a push. We can see we are trending up on the daily time frame, so this would be the first big test. If we can break this bearish trend line, then we might have the fuel to go up and retest 0.06, which is that weekly level. And if we can break that, then we are starting to start the altcoin party. So fingers crossed we can get that little push. Bitcoin dominance, not too much to talk about. Monthly candle close, you can see we've not had a candle close higher than sort of 54.7% in there or thereabouts. What we really need to see though, if we go to the weekly time frame, again, it's an index, not an actual asset, so take take technical analysis with a pinch of salt, but we want to see a weekly candle close below the weekly moving average and then start trending down. So of course, Bitcoin dominance going down, ETH BTC going up. That is good for altcoins and alt BTC pairs. Finally, total 2, not covered this in a little while, but not too much has changed. Weekly time frame, as I've said time and time again, as long as we're above 940 billion, that is all good. A weekly close below 940 billion, I'd begin to get a little bit worried. But as you can see, holding the weekly moving average 21 quite nicely as well, and starting to trend up. So still looking pretty good. We're above the RSI 50. Green trend bar and all that good stuff, so still looking pretty good for the total 2. Let's get into altcoins then and start taking a look at some potential trade setups that I'm talking about. So AVAX on the weekly time frame, you can see we're trying to deviate back inside this weekly range low, as you can see. So we had these range lows here, which is support, then we broke down and we're looking to deviate back inside the weekly range. So obviously a deviation back inside a range low is bullish. Deviation like what we got here back inside the range high is bearish. So what we're looking for is the weekly candle close to remain above $29. So far so good at the moment. It's obviously still very early in the week, literally the start. We go down to the daily, more confluence of signs of strength. So we deviated this daily level back here, back at $26. We managed to break above the moving average 21, as you can see. Fairly decent daily candle today, and we are holding above the RSI 50 as well. So if this continues to be the case, I'm sure the trend and momentum indicator is going to start turning from red to orange, and that's going to start looking pretty good. So you could potentially enter a trade here with your stop loss being somewhere just below the moving average 21. That's about 4%, but of course your risk reward is pretty good if you consider you're going to trade it all the way back up to the weekly range high potentially. So if we take a look, you're looking at about 65% return for a 4% loss. That is not a bad risk reward at all, in my personal opinion. If we take a look, let's go down to the 4 hour. In terms, if you wanted a deeper pullback, so an even better entry, potentially you could see a pullback down to this 4 hour moving average, which is around $28, which is where this level of previous resistance and potential support is as well. You see the 4 hour RSI pretty high. Wouldn't mind that coming down a little bit, maybe retesting the RSI 50, which would probably be in and around this $28 level. So whether you want to maybe go half a size position here with another half of your position down at $28, see if that pullback gets filled, completely up to you. But in terms of the higher time frames, I think AVAX is looking like a pretty good trade indeed, very good risk reward. Looking at Solana, again, I covered this last week. We got that confirmation of a weekly candle close back above the weekly level of 137 and above the weekly moving average 21, which is good. Nice bullish divergence we've got on the weekly time frame as well. So this is looking pretty good. Of course, we got that Sol ETF news as well, which is nice and bullish. In terms of the daily time frame, again, similar to AVAX, we've got above the daily moving average 21 and starting to trend quite nicely. Now, the only trouble you've got with Solana is the entry. So in terms of jumping in now, it looks a little bit little bit risky, potential resistance here. And of course, it feels like a bit of a FOMO entry. You know, it's up quite a lot since yesterday. So in terms of a pullback, you could eye up this level here at 142. Reason being, RSI would come down, probably be in and around that 50 area. The green trend bar on the trend momentum indicator, which is good. But in terms of a pullback, this area, not only was it a previous resistance and now support, but also in and around that moving average 21 as well. So in terms of a pullback, that's probably your best shot. I've not actually checked what that would be on the fib from the most recent impulse. Let's just take a look. That is just below the 0.5. So again, not a bad entry at all if we do get a pullback. If you don't get a pullback, then I guess it's just going to go off without you. So that is the way it is, unfortunately. In terms of a later entry, what you could potentially look at is we've got a resistance level here at 151, daily candle close above that, come back, retest it as support, and then jump into it there. Moving on then to Doge. So on the day time frame, what you see across quite a lot of altcoins at the moment is this sort of bottoming or potential bottoming formation, where specifically on the lower time frames as well, which I'll show you in a minute, we're forming what could be accumulation ranges before an expansion. And what you're also seeing is that price, or the moving average 21, is catching up with price. As price settles down at these levels, the moving average 21 is coming down to meet. And so what you want to see is, as this starts to flatten out, price gets back above it, and then we start trending in an upwards trajectory. So you can see Doge is holding above this 12.2 cents daily level, which is good, but of course it's struggling to break above sort of 12.7, bit of resistance, which you can see clearer on the 4-hour time frame. So this is the kind of accumulation range that I'm talking about. You can see it's just been bouncing around this range ever since last Tuesday. So in terms of a trade, what I'm looking for, because at the moment you can see, whilst it's above the moving average isn't actually trending in a direction. I've made a video about that on how to use the moving average. Go check that out if you want to. But essentially what you want to see is it start trending in a direction for you to trade. This is obviously just going sideways. So what I'd like to see is, I'd like to see a 4-hour candle close above these 4-hour range highs at 12.7 cents. Potentially jump in on a retest if it closes too high, but jump in and then ideally on the retest, or if it's not too far away, jump in on the breakout and then ride it to the upside. The only problem you've got with trades like this is sometimes the range just gets broken out of nowhere and it just runs off without you. But that is that's just the way it goes sometimes. So that's what I'm looking for in terms of a trade on Doge. If we zoom out as well in terms of targets, as I say, that should get us above this local daily resistance, and then hopefully heading up to that weekly level of 13.7 cents. It'll be above the daily moving average as well, and you can start trending. And that's probably a really nice area to take some profit at 13.7 cents. Not only is it a weekly level of previous support, now potentially resistance, but it's also where the moving average 21 is as well. So that's what I'll be looking at in terms of a trade on Doge. VeChain, what I'm looking for is a daily close above this stubborn level of resistance at 0.026. As you can see, big level. It was the bottom around here all through sort of December 23 and January 24. You can see it's been resistance ever since we dropped back below it on the 18th of June. So waiting for that confirmation of a daily candle close, and as you can see, the daily moving average 21 coming down to meet price as well. So ideally gets above this level, gets above the moving average 21, and then starts trending up to the weekly level of the 0.03 cents. If we go to the 4-hour, again, very similar to Doge, this is what we're looking at. 4-hour range, just going sideways. So want to see a 4-hour candle close above 0.027. Again, similar to Doge, I'll either jump on if it's a very close candle close, or if it closes somewhere up here at like sort of 0.028 cents, hopefully look for a pullback, jump in there and then ride it higher. But of course, as I said with Doge, sometimes these trades, the price just blasts out of the range and never comes back. But that's what I'm looking for in terms of VeChain. So 4-hour candle close above that range high, and or daily close above this daily level of 0.026. And then finally, dog whiff hat or whiff. I talked about this on Friday's video, and it's playing out as expected. So talked about waiting for the confirmation of a deviation of this daily range low at $2.15. As you can see, broke down, coming up, retested resistance a number of times, and we got that candle close yesterday above the daily range low, but I did also talk about wanting to wait for a daily candle close above the moving average 21 as well, which it looks like we're going to get today, which is really good. In terms of trading this though, the risk reward is great, but you need to be careful with your leverage, because if we just take a look, if you were to enter here and put your stop loss just below today's wick, that is already a 5.5% stop loss. So you probably want a little bit more clearance. What you probably want to do is go very low leverage, have a wide stop loss, because the reward is fantastic if you were able to ride it all the way back up to the range high, 114% back up to the range highs. So yeah, be cautious with how much leverage you're adding. You don't need too much because it is a big mover as soon as it gets going. But as I say, this is looking really good. Deviation of a range low, which is bullish. Daily candle close potentially after today above the daily moving average 21 and above the RSI 50 as well. So I think that is looking like a very good trade indeed. Nice risk reward as well. So tell me what you think about these trade setups. What are you eyeing up over the coming weeks? Do you think we are in for a little bit of a bullish altcoin season over the next coming weeks? Drop below what trade you're looking at, and I'll catch you on the next video.